That was the first time that I've actually ever wrestled Sarah Del Rey. I've actually never. It was Build has the East Coast versus the West Coast because we have such similar styles. And I believe our first meeting was billed as the East Coast versus the West Coast for hard-hitting women wrestlers.
I do believe that was the promotion when I heard the announcers talking about it. And I don't believe you guys were main event, but you should have been. I mean, I think it kind of stole the show, actually.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it was one of those matches where I don't think anybody knew the caliber of what we were going to do. We didn't even know. We just kind of went out there and just fed off the crowd and just fed off our own athleticism, and our intensity alone is what I think made the match just because we gave it 110%. It was the first time Shimmer was running, and we had to make sure that Shimmer basically what Dave Prazak told us was just to go out there and give it 150% or more because, you don't know which match people are going to watch and put Shimmer on the mat, and I think that was one of the matches that actually helped excel Shimmer into the point that where it is now.
Okay, well, that is true. And speaking of that, I want you to listen to this. This is a segment that came from Shimmer with you.
Sarah Del Rey, let me tell you something, honey. You earned my respect. You earned it. I give you that much. You're one hell of a wrestler. But to call yourself the #1 dominant female in the industry, you're not even close to that, okay? I am the Latina sensation Mercedes Martinez. I earn the respect of anyone and everyone. So let me tell you something. The 4-way, not only am I going to prove myself against you, but I'm going to prove myself against Daisy Hayes, and I'm going to prove myself against Lacey. And I, Mercedes Martinez, is going to come out #1, baby. Can you handle that?
All right. A big promo from Mercedes Martinez.
Yes, I think that was right before. I don't even remember when that promo was taped for.
Is that funny that y'all do it so much? It's like I don't remember when that happened. I mean, really, it was one of those promos that I think it was building up with me and Sarah. I think we already had like maybe 2 matches already in, and I think it was before the Shimmer tournament. Okay. I mean, that's kind of wild. I was like, man, you do it so much, that it just kind of all is all the same after a while.
After a while, you start wrestling the same opponents, same companies want to do the same matches, and you kind of just forget what match. It's the same matches that a lot of companies want to run, and you forget which promos are for which promos and for which companies, and it's just one of those things where it's like, 4-way, okay.
How difficult was it for you to operate in a 4-way? I did get the chance to see that match as well. I want to say, and I might be wrong, so, if I'm wrong, forgive me. I think it was Volume 2. You, Del Rey, Rain, and Hayes, I believe. And again, if I'm wrong, just cut me some slack for that. I forget stuff. But how difficult is that for you to operate in amongst 3 other people in the ring at one time? Or even rotate them in and out. Sorry.
It's basically, it's basically one of those matches where you have 4 different styles, and you kind of have to, instead of being prepared for one person, you have to be prepared for 3. And it's you don't know when they're going to be in the match. You don't know when you're going to get your hands on who. It's just kind of go out there and just whatever someone gives you something, you just kind of always have to be on the defensive. There is no such thing as being on offense when you have 3 other people that you have to wrestle against. So it's one of those things where you kind of always got to watch your back as well as, think ahead. So in a match like that, even as a 3-way, even in tag matches as well, you always just got to always watch your back and be prepared for the next step, always one step ahead. So I believe in that format, that 4-way was, you had 3 different styles to contend with, so you didn't know what angle, what anybody else had to bring to the table. And, I didn't know none of these wrestlers except for IWA Mid-South where, wrestled Rain and Lacey and Daisy. That was the only time I actually had any recognition of their work, and Sarah was only just because of Shimmer Volume 1. So putting me in that situation was kind of like, okay, well, let's see what new stuff I can come up with today, just because, you know, I didn't want to give them the advantage of knowing all my offense.
Uh-huh. Now, your name is kind of ranked amongst the how can I put the elite in the women's circuit. Is that surprising to you? Well, I shouldn't say surprising. Is it flattering that you have kind of worked yourself up there? Because, you know, there's a couple of names that get tossed around when they talk about this one's really, really good. And, you know, Mercedes Martinez seems to be consistently within that, you know, I'm going to say top 5 or so. Is that kind of shocking to you?
Definitely shocking. Definitely, it's very humbling. It puts me back into perspective and keeps me grounded. I was always taught through training that no matter how far you get into this business, to always keep yourself grounded to where you started. Anytime I get in the ring, or even when people mention me as one of the best, I'm always shocked. Just because I still think that I have a lot to learn in this business. Regardless of how far I've come, I always think that, you know, I have more to learn, more to prove. I'm always out there to prove myself. So it's definitely flattering and definitely a humbling achievement, I guess you can say, just to be even considered with one of the top 5 or one of the top 10 or whatever category they want to put me in, just to even be mentioned as one of the top female wrestlers is very humbling and very flattering, of course. I don't see anybody who would be in the top 5 or top 10 who would be, yeah, I deserve it. No. I think, you know. I mean, you know, I think everyone
if you was working right now, you would be that way.
No, I work hard for any achievement I get, and I keep myself very grounded and very down to earth and very flattering, because I don't believe that I work myself up to that point, but I definitely don't have an ego, and I definitely don't think, you know, I always think there's always going to be someone ahead of me, so I always want to reach higher than what they've gotten, regardless of what number I rank or whatever. So, you know, being top 5, 10, just my name being mentioned, that's good enough for me.
Now, see, that's the actual person behind the gimmick talking. Now, if the persona of Mercedes Martinez was saying it, would that come out a little bit different?
Not necessarily, no. I always tend to think, no, I always say that I have a level of confidence. There's always a level of confidence, but I'm not cocky. There's a confidence that has to go with anytime I'm in that ring. I have to have that level of confidence and, you know, saying, hey, I'm going to come out here a winner. But what you see is what you get. I'm the same person in the ring as I am outside of the ring. You know, I'm very personable, very nice, but, you know, just don't mess with me. I'll just take your head off.
Okay. What do you prefer, babyface or heel?
I think my work doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter?
Whether I'm I would take someone's head off, whether I'm a baby face or a heel. My work speaks for itself. I think when I get in the ring, whether I'm cursing the fans off or clapping their hands, my work is the same. It doesn't change whatsoever. I think the only thing that changes is the fans' attitude towards me. So it doesn't really matter. My gimmick, or so to say, doesn't change at all. I probably prefer a little bit more heel, just because it's a little bit more fun, I think. But overall, I just like to have fun in the ring, whether I'm heel or face. Doesn't really matter. Nothing changes.